Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League's Thornton Graphix Cup here from the beautiful Iowa Speedway. Gonna be a fun one here tonight. 100 laps around the 7/8 of a mile racetrack. My name is Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, gonna be a great race here tonight. Only 3 races left entering tonight.
Yeah, 3 races tonight until we get to finally crown our champion. It's been a very long season, but a really fun one. And, you know, the road to the championship takes its turn through the cornfields of Iowa tonight. And this is going to be a really, really fun race.
That it will, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of newcomers here tonight. That's going to be one of our storylines, as the number 44 at Geveshausen has a little bit of troubles there, as well as the 00 there going around. But it's been a fantastic season here, Bob. You know, as we continue to kind of get closer and closer to the end of the championship to figure out who will be the champion. Looking back over the season, been a great season. I mean, we had the first Total Nonstop Racing League race on dirt to kick things off, and had some absolutely stellar runs, a lot of green flag racing, and now we're closing in on who's going to be that champ.
Yeah, this season has really had it all. Like you said, we kicked off the season at Eldora. Billy Thornton got the win, the inaugural Total Nonstop Racing League dirt race win at Eldora. And, I mean, just the racing overall this season has been absolutely fantastic. A lot of guys battling it out for position all year long. Really nothing, too crazy. No dirty racing or anything like that. This really has been a hard-fought season, and some just absolutely fantastic racing here in Total Nonstop Racing.
Yeah, that it has. And look at this huge gaggle of cars we have here tonight. That is, of course, one of our storylines. In fact, let's see if we can jump into the storylines for tonight's race. Of course, we already kind of led off with the first one. Bob, only 3 races left, and the standings are looking pretty good right now for the number 4 machine. I believe you got the standings for us.
I do, yeah. Jason Gracias right now is our points leader. He's got a 10-point lead over Jason Freeman, 14 points ahead of Philip Scott in 3rd, Billy Thornton in 4th, 16 points back, and then Tristan Maher, 27 points out of the lead. So some very tight racing here with only 3 races left.
Yeah, that is the case. And, of course, a lot of newcomers, including this man right here in the number 49 machine, currently fastest on the board. That is Chris Stewart in his ARCA car, going around the racetrack right now, just to the outside of the number 35, Joe Heater, one of the other relatively newcomers to the league. Oh, contact there with Kyle Geveshausen, and oh man, that number 22 looks like he was just kind of squeaking through there. Was that the number 22? I think Stephen Kegman. Yeah, there he is in the Kodiak machine. The number 98 is there. But going back to the point situations, you can see all of the chase drivers up at the top of your screen in orange. Tristan Maher there, as well as the number 5. And you'll also see the number 98, the number 99, and all of them, including number 4, Jason Gracias, your points leader there, running in the 4th position. Jason Freeman there in 5th. So keep an eye on them as this race goes on here tonight. And make sure, if you're in the chat here tonight, make sure you make yourself heard. Logie Bear asking, what's the point system again? Well, we'll kind of break that down here in just a little bit. Let's get through the rest of our storylines, because the last one there is Iowa's characteristics. And Bob, you look at this racetrack. We're right on board here with Stephen Kegman as he goes off into the corner. He's running a little bit higher up on the track and hitting those bumps. And that was what I was going to mention about this racetrack, is there's those bumps up there in turn number 1 and 2, very treacherous. Now, turn number 3 is a little bit smoother. You'll see there won't be as many bumps, but up there near the wall, it's a variably banked racetrack. Is the 97 last week's race winner, Mike Tellier, there goes around coming out of turn number 4. This racetrack, variably banked, and what that does is that means that high line on the longer run tends to be a little bit faster, and that's going to be something we're keeping our eyes on here when we go into the race session. But we have now moved over into the qualifying session, and we will answer your question there, Logie Bear. It's really based off of the NASCAR points system, except we do have a stage break. And the winner of that stage break picks up 3 points. The winner of the second place finisher in the stage break picks up 2 points, and the third place finisher at the stage break picks up 1 point, and that goes towards their tally at the end of the night. Here is the number 50 of Bill Edwards working his way around the racetrack here tonight, working his way through turn number 1 and 2, and now down the backstretch before he flies off into turn number 3. And I'll tell you what, Bob, the point system, the chase that we have, and that actually might have been the question, is the chase. We're currently in this chase where the points were pretty much reset amongst the top 5 drivers, and the top 5 drivers will now battle it out for the championship over these next 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great battle. Like I've mentioned before, Jason Freeman only 10 points out of the lead behind Jason Gracias, and really the two Jasons are the drivers who've dominated this season, with Gracias having 2 wins, an average start of 4th, an average finish of 4th. Jason Freeman, 3 wins, average start of 6th, average finish of 5th. So just some strong consistency, especially out of those two drivers, and really those two are going to be the ones to watch as the season winds down.
Yeah, and we're seeing those orange named drivers over there on the left-hand side of your screen, those drivers with the orange numbers like Jason Freeman go up near the top of the board. How about the man who was fastest here in practice, the number 49 machine? Here he is trying to pick himself up on lap number 2. He qualified 6th on his first lap. Lap number 2, what's that going to do for him? Does it move him up? Yes, it does. Top of the charts. That number 49, the only driver under the 24-second bracket. Fantastic job by that number 49 to get up there at the top of the charts here, making his Total Nonstop Racing debut. And he pulls that car off to the racetrack, and he will go to his pits. There's Hot Lap Ron Chicky down in the number 52. He's still out there on the racetrack. And what about last week's race winner there, Bob? Mike Floppy Tellier. He's yet to put in a qualifying lap time in that John Deere Ford.
Yeah, here he comes now, coming across the line. Looks like he's putting in a 7th overall lap and going to be pulling to decide. First career win last week in the Total Nonstop Racing League at North Wilkesboro. Led all but, I believe, 6 laps or so, give or take. Really just dominance last week, and Mike's really looking forward to trying to carrying that momentum into this week's race.
Yeah, we do apologize. A little bit of connection issues with our software that brings you all the paint schemes, trading paints here. We'll see if we can get that sorted out. But Bob, going to be a fairly short race here tonight, only 100 laps.
Excuse me, yeah, only 100 laps, short track, 7/8 of a mile. Like we've been saying, 24-second lap. So it's really going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do in this short amount of time. Obviously, with it being a short track, track position is always going to be important, especially here at Iowa. Even though there are usually multiple grooves, the bottom is a little bit faster in the beginning of the run. As the run goes on, their cars are going to start drifting up, like you had said, towards the top line. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers can, save their tires, because they only have 2 sets of fresh tires in the pits for them. Also, a 55% fuel load as well for this race. So pit strategy is definitely going to be a factor as we get later on in the race. We have a stage break, like you had mentioned as well, coming up on lap 25. So these drivers can kind of use the first 25 laps or so to feel out the car, see what works for them, what doesn't work for them, see if they need any sorts of adjustments or things like that. And this race is going to be a fun one for sure.
The track here going to go quiet here for the final 35 seconds here of qualifying. Let's take a look at who we got in the chat here tonight. Ryderly Angle saying, let's go Philip. Logie Bear also rooting on the newly number 99 of Philip Scott. New number last week on that race car, so a little bit different than the number 8 he ran all season long. RC Plains 59 saying the usual FIP gang is here. Steven Doziak also in the chat. He's also out there in the number 55 machine. You should be driving, Steven, not in the chat, but do appreciate you saying hi. And if you're in the chat right now enjoying, make sure you make yourself heard. We'd love to say hi to you and give you a shout out here on the 3 Wide TV chat. But meanwhile, looks like the qualifying session has come to a close, and these drivers will be gridding here shortly. And it is pole for a newcomer to the league, the number 49 machine of Chris Stewart. Gotta say, that's one way to make a name for yourself right at the beginning of your Total Nonstop Racing career.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, going in this chase race, putting in the top lap in practice, top lap in qualifying, and saying, "Hey guys, I'm new here. I'm ready to race." And Man, this is going to be exciting. A lot of new guys starting up towards the front.
Yeah, we will go through tonight's starting lineup for the Thornton Graphix 100 here from the Iowa Speedway. Starting on the pole, like we mentioned, Chris Stewart in the number 49 machine, and to his outside, another newcomer, particularly to the Monday League. He runs on the Saturday Truck Series, the Stadium Truck Series here in the Total Nonstop Racing, the number 50 of Bill Edwards. So a whole new front row here tonight in these ARCA cars. On row number 2, on the inside, the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman with Ron Chicky in the number 52 to his outside. On row number 3 on the inside, the number 14 machine, that is Dylan Stipe, and the number 98 of Tristan Mayer. On row number 4, Mike Floppy Tellier, last week's race winner, and Jason Gracias, your current points leader, to the outside of row number 4, starting from 8th. On row number 5, the number 99 of Philip Scott, and the 00 of James Babb, a newcomer to the series as well.
Now on the inside of row number 6, starting in the 11th position, the 55 of Stephen Dosiak Jr. On the outside of him, the 13, another newcomer, DeMarco Starks, coming in, starting 12th. Now on to the next row, starting in 13th place, the 41 of Tony Lucarelli, and outside of him, the commish, the man himself, the number 7 of Garrett Gleason, starting in 14th. Next to the inside of row number 8 and 15th, Kyle Givishausen, the number 44, and outside of him in 16th is the 22 of Stephen Kegman. To the inside of row number 9 and 17th, one of our playoff drivers, Billy Thornton, in the number 5 machine, and outside him, the 35 of Joseph Heater. Now on to row number 10 in the 19th position, the 8 of Ricky Williams, and outside of him, the 38 of Vincent Valvano.
And rounding out your field here tonight, the number 86 of Jeff Wyatt. Again, I apologize. I'm not 100% sure why the paint schemes are not coming up, but they're not coming up. I've tried trading paints a couple times, and it's just saying no, no, no. So that is a little bit unfortunate. So not 100% sure if that's a trading paints issue or exactly what. But these cars will get back to green flag racing here. Pace car comes down. And green flag in the flagman's hand. And there we go. 100 laps here at Iowa. And we're green, green, green for the Iowa 100.
Clean start here to the race as the 49 and the 50 side-by-side dive down into turn number 1. 49 of Chris Stewart able to keep the point as they come out of turn number 2 down the long back straightaway.
Yeah, good start from our current race leader and pole sitter here tonight. There is last week's race winner digging down there on the inside of the racetrack, Mike Floppy Tellier. They're side by side back here. Meanwhile, up towards the front, there's the number 20 of Jason Freeman, the fastest of the chase drivers in qualifying. Trying to get around your outside pole sitter, the number 50 of Bill Edwards. Those two still side by side here off into the corner. And now we'll start to see that progressive banking that we talked about there in the brief pre-race that we had here tonight, Bob, because the number 50 machine on the outside, he has a little bit more grip up there, with the exception of him hitting the bumps. If he hits the bumps, sometimes you can kind of go on a ride with these cars, and you really have to watch out for that. That is, of course, one of the keys to the race. But if you can use that outside line, it's very difficult for the car on the inside to make a pass because there's just not a lot of grip down there.
Yeah, a lot more grip up top, save for those bumps that you had mentioned. But, especially now, earlier on in the run, some fresh tires, brand new tires, plus more grip. You're going to be a lot faster up on the top side as you're going around, as long as you can navigate your way around the bumps and try to get your way off of them and around the car that's next to you.
And here's Mike Floppy Tellier. He's trying to move himself a little bit forward. He started in 7th. He's currently in 7th, holding off Dylan Stipe behind him. Biggest mover of the race so far, Billy Thornton, one of your playoff drivers, or your chase drivers, he has got up 4 positions in the number 5 machine a little bit further back. But we got some side-by-side a little bit further back. Is that the number 99 and the 13? Yes, it is. And that number 99, Philip Scott, out to his outside. Phillips lost 2 or so positions from the start of the race. And that number 99 machine is just holding tough out there, showing how difficult it is to actually make a pass here.
Yeah, this really is a tough place to pass, especially when you're side by side with the guy next to you. Track position really is key on these short tracks, but especially here at Iowa.
Yeah, and you can kind of see all the different lines in play there. down in turn number 3 and 4. We're going to see that a lot here tonight. What about turn number 1 and 2? It seems like a lot of drivers kind of gravitating towards that first white dashed line down there through turn number 1 and 2. We'll have to see exactly if that pans out or if that continues as the night goes on. Meanwhile, turn number 3 and 4, a couple of different lines. Seems like there's a little bit more variability in turn number 3 and 4, and that's from what I have found here to be the case as well, that when you go through those corners in 3 and 4, it's a lot smoother, and there's a lot of bumps here in turn number 1. You can actually kind of see the cars lurch over the bumps there, and I don't know if there's a tunnel or something like that, but there's so many bumps in turn number 1 and 2 that you really have to be mindful of what line you run, and that line that they're running through 1 and 2 usually is the preferred line, and that was the number 4 there. Gracias getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner. Gracias here just currently outside the top 5. We're right on board here with our current points leader. We'll watch him head down the back stretch here. Good start so far. I know, with 21 cars in the field here tonight, we were kind of curious to know if, it was going to be nice and smooth at the start, and so far, so good.
Yes, so far, so good. Especially with how these cars handle across the bumps, I was a little bit worried, saying, "Oh man, these bumps up on top. Some new guys in the league racing tonight. Let's see how they're going to be able to handle it." But right now, 10 laps in, and so far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good for the field. There is your leader, the number 49 of Chris Stewart, still holding on. Now a 1 second lead over Bill Edwards. He's just pulling away, and over the last few laps, he's been the fastest car out there on the racetrack by about a half a tenth per lap. So definitely he's showing us how it's done here in the early going, making his Total Nonstop Racing League debut. The number 20 of Jason Freeman. In that number 20, he started in third. He's still running third. In fact, the top 4 have yet to change position. The only person in the top 5 actually picking up spots would be the number 98 of Tristan Maher. But as I say that, they're side by side back here between the 4 and the 98. Whoa, the 98 gets a little loose there coming out of the corner.
Man, just got a little bit sideways there coming out of turn number 2, but still some great side-by-side racing between these two playoff drivers, just trading position back and forth here. The 4 got really close to the 98 there. Not sure if they made any contact, but the 98's going to be able to pull away, and the 97 jumps on top of that opportunity.
Yeah, no, man, they get tight again. There might have been contact. Looked like there was contact. This is the 4 and the 97 now going toe-to-toe as they go off into turn number 3 and 4. So Gracias trying to make a move down there on the inside. Looks like it's backfiring for him because now he's got a freight train of cars to his outside. Can he get up the racetrack? Yes, he can. So he cuts off the number 00 of James Babb there. Babb now looking to the inside of the racetrack. And we'll see if Babb can get a run coming out of the corner. So far, not quite able to get past that number 4, but Gracias here sliding back in the early going. And as your points leader, he will definitely want to move forward as we close in, Bob, here on the stage break.
Yeah, for sure. Only 10 more laps left until the stage break. The only real meaningful points, if you will, that'll be awarded if the stage were to end right now would be 1 extra bonus point to Jason Freeman, which will bring him still within striking distance of the 4 of Jason Gracias in our point standings. As I say that, Jason Freeman looks like he's going to take the 2nd position away from Bill Edwards.
Yeah, we'll jump back to that battle. There was a good battle up a little bit further back in the pack. We'll see if we can quickly get a quick replay of this pass for the 2nd position. The number 20 here, this is 1 lap ago, setting up the number 50 coming out of turn number 2. Running down the backstretch, just dove to the inside there in turn number 3. Just drove it in a little bit harder, tried to hook that line, and did a good job of it. The 50 went up the racetrack and just a little bit, almost pulled off the slide job. There we go, finally able to clear the number 50, and that's exactly how the number 20 has now got himself up into the 2nd position. Meanwhile, let's go a little bit further back in the pack and try and figure out that big battle, that big scuffle that was back there amongst a couple of drivers. Looks like that's all sorted out. There's the number 55 of Steven Doziak right in front of the number 38 of Vincent Valvano. These couple of cars back here battling with one another for that 14th position. It looks like Valvano here going to dive to the inside in turn number 1.
Yeah, what a great move there by Valvano, diving head in, but looks like they might have made a little bit of contact there as they get a little sideways coming out of 2. Valvano comes away with the position.
Yeah, looks like that's going to settle down. Meanwhile, Looks like your current points leader, Jason Gracias, was able to get back around Mike Floppy Tellier, so he's now moved back up to 6th position, and that is plus 2 spots from where he qualified. Oh, man, was that Tellier there clipping the wall? Looks like it was. He just coming out of turn number 2, got a little bit high up on the racetrack, and there's some bumps up there, Bob. I mentioned the bumps kind of in between turn number 1 and 2, but right on exit of turn number 2, the car kind of lurches up out of the racetrack, similar to what you find at Dover. I know when we went to Dover, we talked about how it was a little bit like a roller coaster, but watch this kind of hump that you go over right there, and you can feel that as a race car driver, and it definitely affects the way the car drives coming out of the corner. If you got too much wheel in it, you're going to get pushed tight. If you got too little wheel in it, you're going to hit the wall, so you just kind of have to find that sweet spot.
Yeah, you really do, and it's all about riding that fine line of, are you going to be on the edge, over the edge, or just right? And if you're over, your car's going to be either in the wall or spinning sideways down the track, and obviously that's never a good thing, but especially with a race like this.
Back up at the front of the field, Chris Stewart holding on to a 1-second lead. He's been caught by Jason Freeman just a little bit over the last couple of laps or so. It was about 1.2 seconds. Now it's down to just under a second. And in fact, right now, as I say that, it is exactly 1 second according to our live timing and scoring ticker. So at number 49, he's figured out this joint here in his Total Nonstop Racing League debut. There's the number 20 of Freeman, the first of your chase drivers here in the Thornton Graphix Cup, trying to run him down, but I don't think you'll be able to run him down here before we reach our one and only stage caution.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can. I mean, every point matters, especially if you're Jason Freeman trying to cut down that gap. It's a 10-point lead coming into tonight's race, but it's going to be interesting to see if Freeman can catch up. I don't personally think he can, especially with only 2 laps left in the stage break, but hey, 2 points at the end of the day is still 2 points more than you would have had if you didn't finish in the top 3.
A little bit further back, this is a battle for 16th between Jeff Wyatt and Ricky Williams. That number 8 machine digging down there on the inside of the racetrack. The number 86 on the outside. These are a couple of newcomers to the series, racing each other very respectively right here, as we're going to throw the yellow here very shortly as we now reached our stage break. And it looks like that number 8 will pick up the 8th position, I should say, over the number 86 machine. Just waiting for that caution flag to fly, and I'm sure it will do so here shortly. But I'll tell you what, fantastic job by the whole field to get through the first stage, caution-free here at Iowa. And this racetrack, it races a little bit like a short track, and we've seen these drivers be quite courteous in the first 25 laps.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we're going to see that same courtesy as we get a little bit closer towards the end of the race, but right now it looks like it's a bit of a feeling out process. Okay, how's my car handling? How do I like the different lanes that I could choose? Is that white line there the ultimate line that I should be running? Should I run the car a little bit higher? It's all these different questions that these drivers have to ask themselves. Am I too loose? Am I too tight? Do I need to make any wedge adjustments or anything like that as we head on down pit road? Do I even need to pit? There's so many different questions that can be answered by these drivers right now.
Yeah, just bear with us here for a brief moment. We'll go to kind of a radio-style broadcast here under yellow, trying to get these paint schemes all figured out for the field. So these cars will probably have a little bit of a different look when we go back green here in just a little bit. So it'll be like a completely new race, Bob. And whole new race cars, whole new looks. Definitely going to be kind of fun to see. Can tell you that the whole field is currently coming down pit road, though, led by the number 49, Chris Stewart. As I say that, it looks like we might have one driver kind of staying out there on the racetrack. It looks like Mike Floppy Tellier is going to be it, as well as the number 14 of Dylan Stipe. Meanwhile, it looks like the number 49 will lead us down pit road. He's going to come into his pit box, and we'll see if he can get back here live. And there he is in that number 49 machine in his pit box as that crew goes to work. We'll see if he wins the race off pit road.
Looks like the crew just taking a look on the inside now. The 98 of Tristan Maher able to lead that one off of pit road. Now comes the 49 and the rest of the field coming across the line. It's going to be interesting to see where all these drivers stack up, because we had a couple of guys stay out and try to lead a couple laps here under yellow.
Yeah, Mike Tellier was one of those, and I'm a bit surprised with that. I'll tell you why, Bob. We've seen how difficult it is to pass here tonight. And that number 97, who was your winner, of course, last week, definitely dominated that race last week at North Wilkesboro. Here tonight, trying to get some track position to see if that will help him get 2 in a row.
Yeah, dominated last week. Really, I mean, I'd mentioned it before. I think he led all but maybe 6 laps of the race en route to his first ever total nonstop racing win. And here he is now in the 97 Best Buy machine, taking over and looking to try to capitalize on that momentum from last week.
Yeah, who we got in the chat? We got Anne Marie rooting on Hot Lap Ron Chicky. Currently being scored down in the 12th position. Let's see if we can go check out that number 52. There he is, running right behind DeMarco Starks in the number 13 machine, who's now got that maroon number 13. I got to say, Hot Lap Ron has definitely shown a lot of pace this season as we ride on board with that number 52 machine. He's shown a lot of pace, definitely shown a lot of pace in qualifying, and that's why he's known as Hot Lap Ron. But currently not having the night he exactly was looking for. He started up in 4th. He's dropped 8 positions back to 12th, Bob. It's not a good stage for that 52.
No, absolutely not. I mean, like we've been saying a lot this evening, where track position is key, and if you're stuck mired back in the pack, it's going to be tough to get up ahead. I mean, we've seen guys like Bill Edwards really just dominate this race. Chris Stewart, again, also really taking over and taking control of this race. So it's going to take a lot of car control and, burning off some tires that you may or may not have to try to make a bout for that lead later in the race.
And you can see down there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, this is the one and only caution we've had in the first stage of the race. Question for the chat, though, is this going to be it? Are we going to see any other cautions here in the next 70 laps or so? Because that Ford Mustang pace car going to dive down pit road. Green flag going to be in the flag man's hand. And we're back racing here at Iowa for the Iowa 100.
Man, what a great jump there by the 97 of Mike Tellier. Able to jump ahead and really get a couple of car lengths out as he dives down into turn number 1. Tristan Mayer, his teammate, down there on the inside as well, looking to take over the second spot.
Oh, man, there's some scuffling happening back there. Dylan Stipe in the number 14. He was one of those cars who did not pit under that caution flag. And that number 14 here going to be dropping like a stone through the field. 3M on the hood of Stipe's machine. He has fallen from 2nd all the way back to 6th in just 1 lap. And now here comes more cars trying to get to his outside, including the 00 of Bab and also the 99 machine of Philip Scott, as looks like up towards the front of the field. Is that the number 20? It is the number 20 there, Jason Freeman. He's now gotten himself up into 3rd with those fresher tires, and he's trying to run down Mike Tellier because Tellier's been caught by Chris Stewart, and Chris Stewart going to get himself back up to the race lead with those fresh tires. I got to say, he made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, he definitely did. Fresh tires really are going to be a huge key to tonight's race. But it's an interesting little science experiment there that both the 97 and the 14 had, saying, okay, let's see, what do old tires do for me now? I can always pit later on. There's still, 70 some odd laps left. Let's see how that'll handle it. And a decent science experiment. Tellier said, okay, you know what? I can stay out a few laps before the guys with fresher tires can jump ahead and take over for me. So it'll be interesting to see how that strategy plays out later on here in the race.
Just caught a glimpse of the 00 machine having a big slide there. That's James Babb. Great save in the RC Cola Chevrolet. We'll get to see if we can get one more look of that one from high atop the blimp cam. Let's go back just a little bit more and watch him here as he goes down the backstretch. It was very, very tight there with the number 99. Was there any... Oh, there might have been a little bit of contact there, Bob, between those two, but fantastic save there by Babb to kind of gather that 00 back up.
Yeah, that was a fantastic save there. If he didn't save it, he would have been sideways down, maybe even into that pit attenuator, that determines the pit wall, rather. So it's going to be interesting to see how he can come back now after that slide.
Yeah, and look at this battle between the 41 there on the inside line. That is Tony Lucarelli, 14 to his outside. And look who's right behind him. That is, of course, one of the chase drivers, the number 5 of Billy Thornton. He wasn't really able to crack the top 10 under that first stage. He's trying to work his way now up towards that top 10 mark. With that pass on the number 14, we'll get him up to 11th, running right behind a little bit different look on Lucarelli's number 41 machine this week. Definitely a very hot rod looking machine. Good job by Tony Lucarelli with that new look on that race car. Also, I'm digging the old Monte Carlo taillights on that number 41 machine. I really like that look. I've seen it on a couple of cars, including cars that Chris Darling has painted. And that number 41 of Lucarelli now going to get himself up to 9th with that pass there on Tristan Mayer. And Mayer here, it looks like he's fallen back as well.
Yeah, Mayer didn't get quite as good of a restart. I'm assuming he took 2 tires instead of 4 during that last break, because he jumped ahead, took up second, and then started to fall back. Right now he's down in the 11th position. So 2 tires maybe not the way to go either for these drivers as the race goes on.
Yeah, Mike Tellier has almost fallen outside of the top 10. He's now down to 9th. There he is. Getting passed there by Lucarelli and the number 41. So definitely it looks like pitting under that one and only caution we've had was the thing to do. I was a little surprised we didn't see everyone down pit road with how many laps they did have on their tires, because this racetrack, although it's a short track, you do lean on that right front quite a bit here, Bob. I mean, this isn't a slow racetrack by any means, and you really use the tires here to scrub speed right through the center of the corner. You trail brake as much as you can. You try and dial that brake bias as far back as you can. But, all things considered, you're still going to be leaning on that right front quite a bit here. And for those drivers who didn't take any tires on pit road or didn't even come down pit road like Mike Tellier, you got to start thinking about pit stops at some points here pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're a guy like Mike Tellier, you have 42 some odd laps on your car or on your tires right now. They have to be screaming. They cannot have as much grip or nearly as much grip as these guys who have 20 some odd laps fresher tires. So, I mean, you really have to be at one point saying, all right, I need a caution now, otherwise I'm going to have to pit. And if I pit, I'm going to lose at least 1 lap, possibly even 2 with how short this track is. So, if you're one of those guys that took no tires or even 2 tires like Tristan Mayer, I'm going to be sitting there and saying, man, I could really use a caution right now.
Yeah, and Mayer continues to slide backwards in that number 98 machine. You see him there right behind the number 8 of Ricky Williams. And that number 86, who we're focusing on right there, Jeff White, he's got himself up to lucky number 13, as this is really the best battle out there on the racetrack as of right now. This gaggle of cars a little bit further back. They're led by the number 13 of DeMarco Starks, one of the other newcomers to the series. There he is right in front of Mike Floppy Tellier, who's under fire now from Vincent Valvano. Those two going to be side by side here going off into turn number 1. And oh man, getting a little bit tight there through the center of 1 and 2. But they keep everything together. And that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 38 of Valvano, I absolutely love that scheme. Also sporting the Chevy Monte Carlo tail lights. I absolutely love that. That's a really cool feature. It reminds me of the old NR 2003 days there, Bob.
Oh, for sure. It really brings me back to racing in with TNR back in those days, and seeing the old early 2000s style taillights really just brings a smile to my face.
And now we're 3 wide. How about this? The number 86 says, you know what? 3 can play this game. He's going to drop down there to the inside. Of course, that is Wyatt. He's going to try and pick up a twofer here. That would move him up to 11th if he can get around the 97 and the 38. But now he's under fire here from the number 8 back behind him, Ricky Williams. If Ricky can get to his outside, we can make this a 4-car battle. How about 4 wide? Do you think we can do 4 wide, Bob?
Oh, man, I think they can do it, but I don't know if they'll be able to survive it, as looks like cooler heads prevail, go back to single and double file racing here. But man, oh man, just some fantastic racing here deeper in the pack.
And one driver that we recently talked about, Hot Lap Ron, well, how about him? He's now moved himself back up in towards the top 5 as Vincent Valvano just sails it off into turn number 1, slides up the racetrack, able to catch it, but he finally made that pass on the number 97 as the number 8 of Ricky Williams now goes to work on Wyatt in the 86 machine. Now Tristan Maher trying to come back at these drivers. So the 97 who did not pit. Oh, man, look at Maher there kind of jumping up to the top side of the number 8. Maher here seems like possibly these tires have leveled off. Remember, Maher took right sides under that caution. Everyone else pretty much took 4. But perhaps these tires have kind of leveled off between the field, and maybe Maher can start to move back up towards the front of the field as he is currently being scored down in 14th position.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how the tires affect. Like you'd said, the tires are really starting to level out now just a little bit. But it's going to be really interesting here now as we see a bit of a battle further up for 5th place here between Philip Scott and Ron Chicky.
Yeah, hot lap Ron trying to turn a hot lap down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Might have got a little bit squirrely there coming up out of the corner. This is a battle for the 5th position. So, man, just as we were saying, that first 25 laps didn't go all too well for the 52. Well, he's kind of telling the commentators, you know what, I do know how to get around this racetrack. Oh, man, just cut him in front of the 00 machine. That was tight. That was very close to bringing out our first true caution of the night. We'll see if we can get a look at that one from the blimp cam, but that one was close, Bob.
Yeah, that was really close. Looked like he had almost exactly 1 car length to be able to fit his car into. And, oh, man, here they are coming out side by side. And, oh, wow, the 00 had to just slam on the brakes to avoid running into the back of Ron Chicky. So, oh, man, that was a tight one.
And there was something else that happened to hot lap Ron. This was about 3/4 of a lap later as he went off into turn number 1, hit those bumps up there on the top side of the racetrack, and he went slam bam into the outside wall. And that number 52 machine just lost a ton of positions, a lot of track position as well. He's going to slide back to 8th, but we'll be back live. There he is, now back behind Tony Lucarelli. There we are, back live, right behind Tony Lucarelli in the now 8th position. Going to try and run him back down, but back up towards the front. Jason Freeman hasn't quite let Chris Stewart get out to the lead he had earlier, but the number 50 of Bill Edwards hounding him for that 2nd position. Man, they're really tight. This is the best battle out there on the racetrack right now. And, oh, Freeman there gets a little bit squirrely coming out of the corner.
Yeah, just a little bit sideways there. Not sure if he had any help from Edwards, but really some great tight racing as Edwards now looks down to the inside of Jason Freeman, trying to get the car to stick right around that first dashed line as it come out of turn number 2. Edwards thinks better of it and slots in right behind the 20 of Freeman.
Yeah, gotta look over at the chat. We got TJ Buck saying, "What's up, Peter? Did you enjoy the All-Star race?" Yes, I did. Of course, that was the NSRA All-Star race last Friday night from Bristol Motor Speedway. If you missed that one here on 3Wide TV, make sure you go check that one out because that was a stellar race, 100 laps at Bristol for an All-Star, and an iRacing I-flag was on the line as the number 20 of Freeman still letting it all hang out. Ryder Lee Angle saying, "Bold move to try and parallel park there mid-race." That, of course, with the number 52 of Chicky trying to slot between a couple of race cars right there down the backstretch. But while we've been watching this battle, Bob, I did look at live timing and scoring, and we did have a couple of drivers come down pit road, including Mike Tellier and Dylan Stipe, those 2 drivers who stayed out under that first green flag or under that first caution pit stop cycle that we had. So they now are gonna have to race like hell to try and get themselves back up there on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when we've been having so many green flag runs, or such a long green flag run, rather, that 2 laps down is going to be really tough for you to pick up here under green flag conditions. Obviously, the leaders are going to have to come down and pit eventually, but even then, they're so far off sequence with those leaders, it's man, it's going to be tough for guys like Tellier and Stipe to race their way back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we're watching this battle continue on. In fact, the number 55 of Doziak right back there behind him. Remember, he is actually on fresh tires. He's one of those drivers who did come down pit road as well. And I got bad news for the Mike Floppy Tellier fans. Something has happened to that number 97. Not sure if he's got a speeding penalty or what, but he is just sitting in his pit box. And this is absolute heartbreak, for last week's race winner from North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, went from 2 laps down, now 4 laps down, and the laps just keep coming down. It is such a shame for Mike because, like you had mentioned, he won last week at North Wilkesboro, was having some pretty good momentum, and then another pit issue really just causing a tough break for him tonight.
Looking a little bit further back in the pack, this is the battle for the 11th position. The number 8 machine, Ricky Williams, trying to pick it up from Vincent Valvano. He does indeed. Valvano there might have caught a piece of that outside retaining wall. We saw a few sparks out the right side of that TMNT Chevrolet. But you see him there working through the corner bend. Valvano definitely struggling for front end grip as we saw him there slide up the racetrack just a little bit through turn number 1 and 2. Maybe he hit those bumps wrong, like we'd mentioned a couple times here tonight. But now we're going to jump back up towards the front of the field because there's a driver starting to knock on the door for third, and that's the number 4 machine, Jason Gracias, who's actually closing in just a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely coming out of the files of where did he come from. Jason Gracias had a great run so far tonight. Just right around that top 5. Now Gracias looking to make a move towards third place of Bill Edwards and just slowly but surely tracking these leaders down.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the field now really spread out. You can kind of just see all these gaps developing around the racetrack. There goes the number 99 on by. There's Ron Chicky, who's got around Tony Lucarelli to get himself back up to 7th. There's Billy Thornton as well. And now we look a little bit further back. Here's Tristan Maher running right in front of the number 7 of Garrett Gleason. This is a really cool look. Looks like Mike Floppy Tellier there in the Best Buy machine. He's gotten back out there on the racetrack. But there are your leaders. Chris Stewart here, your current race leader, he's got himself in some pretty heavy traffic. They're just getting around Kyle Geveshausen in the number 44, who, with that South Park machine, put together a pretty respectable qualifying time. He races on a controller in that number 44, and now he's way up there in the bumps. That's not where you want to be. But at least for right now, Chris Stewart really slicing and dicing his way through this traffic. In fact, he's extended his lead now to 1.6 seconds over Freeman. What has happened to the number 50 of Bill Edwards? Looks like Edwards must have come down pit road.
Yeah, must have came down pit road. Here he is coming off of the bank, or coming onto the banking down here on the back straightaway, because we saw Edwards there racing with Freeman, but that might be a sign that the rest of the leaders are going to start coming down. Maybe Edwards said, you know what, I'm going to short pit a little bit sooner, try to get some track position and pick that up on the back end of the stop. And with 35 laps to go, right now it's in the pit window, but it looks like a caution flag comes out.
Caution flag is out, and we'll have to figure out exactly why the caution flag came out. And I think it's this man right here, Mike Floppy Tellier. You can see him sliding, and it just gets away from him coming out of the corner and pancakes the outside wall with the left side of that racetrack. So from hero to zero in a week, unfortunately, it looks like for Mike Tellier there coming out of the corner. But that will be the first caution flag of the night, and that absolutely kills the number 50 machine of Bill Edwards. He was 1 lap down. He will be able to get the wave around, but definitely not what he wanted to have happen during this cycle. We're jumping back live here as Chris Stewart, he will lead pretty much everyone down pit road.
Yeah, coming down pit road now. If you're someone like Bill Edwards, man, you are so frustrated that the caution came out when it did, but things just get bad, going from bad to worse, rather, with Mike Floppy Tellier there causing the caution, having the pit road issues earlier on, but we'll see who wins this battle off of pit road.
And we're riding on board with the number 99 of Philip Scott as he goes to his pit box, gonna just go straight through one of his competitors there, and there is the look of the cars on pit road. Of course, Chris Stewart. Where is Chris Stewart? Not quite in the camera there. Oh, there he is. And it looks like he's going to try and win the race off pit road. Looks like he will off over the number 20 of Freeman. Jason Grassi is also getting off pit road there pretty quickly, but it looks like one driver elected to stay out. That's the number 41 there of Tony Lucarelli, who's inherited the race lead after all that. How about that?
Yeah, very interesting. Great strategy call there if it's able to work for him. But if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't pitted since that caution, or the stage break rather, at the beginning of the race. So going to be interested to see how his tires can handle the rest of this race, how much fuel he has for the rest of the race, and can he hold off the rest of the field as they get ready to go back green soon.
I mean, the big question here, Bob, is that number 41, those tires, I mean, that last run that we had was from lap number 25 to around lap number 66. That was about, 40 laps or so. I just don't think that that 41 is going to be able to hold on to that top spot. Now, the one driver who's hating to see this is that number 50 of Edwards, because he won't be able to get the wave around because of the number 41 there staying out. So Edwards is going to have to drop to the tail end of the longest line. And I'm trying to see who might have been the lucky dog. I think it was Kyle Giveshausen in the number 44 machine. But it doesn't look like Bill Edwards will get the lucky dog, so he will be one lap down. The number 41 continues to stay out there on the racetrack. I expect to see pace car lights turn off. That is absolutely disastrous for Bill Edwards here tonight, who had such a strong run going in the early portion of the race.
Yeah, really, he really did. I mean, started on the outside pole, really raced really, really well for his first race here with the Total Nonstop Racing League. And just, oh man, such a tough break. And, when he pitted, I was sitting there thinking, man, you know what? I think he's got a pretty good chance at coming back and really contending for this win, because he was able to pit early, maybe pick up some track position on the back end of the cycle. But unfortunately now he's trapped because of a tough caution.
Yeah, it looks like Steven Doziak will be able to get waved around, so he'll be one lap down. He is currently just on the tail of being one lap down, almost two, but luckily he's right in front of the race leader, so the pace car should wave him by here shortly. It's kind of a long caution here at Iowa. TJ Buck asking me if my arm feels itchy. Last I checked, it is not itchy. I'll check again. Nope, still not itchy. Right early angle saying he's not having a good day today. Here is he. I'm guessing talking about the number 97 of Mike Tellier, not 100% sure. Or might be talking about Philip Scott as well, because Philip hasn't been having the best of nights in that number 99 machine. Had a pretty good night at North Wilkesboro 1 week ago, but he's kind of been stuck around there, the 7th, 8th position, but he'll be starting on the outside line here, just to the outside of James Babb. Scott will be restarting in 6th in that Scott's machine right out there. And more importantly, the pace car lights are off here, Bob. And the number 41, old tires on that race car. Can he hold on? Be 29 laps to go when we go green.
Yeah, we'll see here as the pace car gets ready to pull off here. Tony Lucarelli on the inside and the 49 of Chris Stewart on the outside. Stewart really been leading since the drop of the green flag. Here's the flagman getting ready to wave and restart the field. Green flag back in the air, and a pretty decent jump there by the 41 of Lucarelli.
Yeah, that number 41 of Lucarelli, he's going to try and get all he can get in that number 41 machine as the field flashes on by. And that number 41 now on the outside. Here comes the number 49 of Chris Stewart getting back to the lead. And here comes the number 4, Gracias. Gracias is going to get himself back up into second. And now the whole field flashing on by that number 41 machine. There goes the 20, the 99, the 41 almost make contact there coming out of turn number 4. They stay off of one another, and we stay green. Now Lucarelli's up in the bumps. Watch those bumps. That car jumping all over him. He's going to lose a ton of positions here in turn number 1 and 2, and could lose more as here comes Tristan Maher.
Man, fresh tires versus old tires. We've seen this again earlier on in the race, and the old tires just did not hold. And, man, just such a tough break there for the 41 of Lucarelli, who was having such a great night, had a great restart, but the old tires really just not working here. The 52 of Hot Lap Ron gets into the wall.
Yeah, that 52 machine stuck there in the outside wall. We'll see if we can get one more look at this on an instant replay. I think he just had problems there coming out of turn number 4. Here we go. This is 1 lap ago. Working his way down there on the bottom side of the racetrack, then washes up right behind the 41, and yeah, just gets caught into that outside wall, and that's wall glue. That's what we like to call it, Bob, because you can see he just can't get off the wall. He's just kind of glued to it, and all the way through the corner, just losing as much time as you can lose, pretty much out there on the racetrack, dropping all the way back now to the 15th position. As we'll go back live, back up at the front of the field, it is still the number 49 of Chris Stewart, but back behind him, Jason Freeman in the number 20 just got around the number 4, your points leader, Jason Gracias.
Yeah, great battle here between the two Jasons battling it out for position. Just some fantastic racing here, side-by-side battles further back in the pack, but man, just some great driving here by these chase drivers, and all of them right here for second as Chris Stewart starts to pick up a little bit more of a lead.
Yeah, Stewart now up to about 0.6 of a second. And how about Philip Scott there in the number 99? Scott's on the hood. He restarted in 6th. Now he's up to 4th. So I gotta say, what I'm starting to see here, Bob, is those drivers in the chase, Freeman, Gracia, Scott, Maher, and Thornton, they're rising to the top of the field here as this race goes on. I wouldn't be all too surprised if I see them running second through 5th or 6th, running in the top 5 positions or so before the end of this race. But that number 49, Chris Stewart, here in his Total Nonstop Racing debut, just been dominant here at this racetrack. Led so far 68 laps out of the 79 that we have turned around this joint. Very, very impressive. Can anyone track him down? Jason Freeman trying to do it right now. He's now under half a second behind that number 49, but you and I know, Bob, catching him is one thing, passing him is another.
Absolutely. It is so tough to pass here at Iowa, and getting up to him is one thing, but you have to be able to conserve your tires, and it's so tough, and it's such a fine line between saving your tires and really just letting them all hang out. There's still 20 some odd laps to go here. You don't want to burn off your tires too quickly, but once you get up to him, you have to really conserve and go fast at the same time, and man, that's just a tough question to ask.
Right on board with Jason Freeman, maybe a little bit of a wiggle there coming out of turn number 4. We'll look at the lap times that last time by, and you can see Freeman there a little bit slower last time than Stewart, as Stewart once again continues to lead in that Tito's Vodka number 49 machine. Meanwhile, out back behind Jason Freeman, he's got himself now a pretty good gap back to the number 4 machine of Jason Gracias back there, and that gap continues to grow as we now have just 19 laps to go. Pretty quick race here tonight, Bob. Only 100 laps. We've only seen 2 cautions in the first 80 laps. And I'm looking back, I think it was Ryder Leangle who said at one point, or Logie Barrett, it was one of the two. Let me go back and see in the chat. It was Logie Barrett who said, I think we'll see 2 cautions. And currently, he is on the mark with that. Can we go caution-free to the end? There's been a lot of green flag racing here tonight. I'm sure the newbies, the drivers who are new here tonight, will be very excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure, and it really does put a good look on this Total Nonstop Racing League to anyone who's wishing to join the league, race, and have their car shown here on 3-Wide TV during the broadcast. It just goes to show how great this league is, how great these drivers are, and really how strong the competition here it is on Total Nonstop Racing.
Yeah, and here we go a little bit further back. This is the battle for the 4th position, and ooh, man, Philip Scott there might have had a moment coming out of turn number 2. James Babb still all over the back bumper. This is that 4th position that's up for grabs between these two. You see a little bit of a gap back to the number 13 of DeMarco Starks. Great job by DeMarco Starks, and we have a caution flag here at Iowa. That could change everything. Let's see if we can sort this one all out for you on the 3-Wide TV replay. Trying to see what might have happened here, and so far not seeing exactly what might have brought out this yellow. Let's see if we can go back a little bit further. And there was a car on the inside of the racetrack, and it's one of our playoff drivers as well, one of our chase drivers who might have had a little bit of a moment. Let's see if we can dial up this replay, and there it is right there, the number 98, Tristan Maher. Just pretty much same thing that happened to Mike Floppy Tellier, just gets loose coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, like teammates there, both getting sideways out of 4, sliding down to the inside of the racetrack this time. Luckily, no damage that we can see. Didn't really make any contact with the outside wall as we go on board here with the 98, but just coming out. Looks like he hit a bit of a bump, had a bobble, and just spun it around, didn't hit anything. A little quick 360 and kept going.
Yeah, the good news is that he was able to keep it off the wall, so we'll have to reset everything and go again here on 3-Wide TV. We'll see, looks like Bill Edwards in the number 50 machine. He will be glad to see this caution flag. There he is, because he will be the lucky dog. He'll get back on the lead lap. And with such a strong first portion of the race, I'm sure he will be, a little bit bummed that he'll probably not be able to get back up towards the top 3, which is where he was for that first portion of the race. But nonetheless, strong showing for him here tonight in his Total Nonstop Racing League Monday night ARCA Series Thornton Graphix Cup debut.
Yeah, for sure. Really good, strong running. Obviously, some bad luck there. Was bitten. Got bit by the bad luck bug there, if you will, with the Mike Floppy Tellier wreck earlier on in the race. Caught him a lap down, but now he is trying to get some laps back and try to at least compete for a little bit better and a quicker or higher finish, rather, than what he was going to have.
RC Planes in the chat saying commentators just cursed it. Caution inbound. And there's the caution. Yeah, it happens a lot up here in the 3-wide TV booth. I don't know how we have the ray gun, as I like to call it, and we tend to shoot it out just when we're watching drivers and talking good about them or talking good about the race. We just have a knack of causing cautions here on 3-wide TV. We're not out there on the racetrack. We're up here in the booth, but we still cause some havoc here. But for the fans, right? It's more exciting. It's more interesting. So definitely give the video here a like if you're enjoying it. We're definitely enjoying having all you guys in the chat and all these drivers out here on the racetrack, including this man right here, the number 49, Chris Stewart, who has dominated this race all night long. But can anyone knock him off his pedestal here in the closing laps? A bit surprised, Bob, that we didn't see too many takers on pit road. In fact, the only driver who really came down pit road was Tony Lucarelli further back in the pack. Kyle Geveshausen also coming down pit road. Dylan Stipe, but he's one lap down. So going to be interesting to see exactly how this all works out for the drivers. But Lucarelli's going to be on fresh tires. How far can he climb up through the field?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that move pays off. I mean, if I was driving, I definitely would have had to think hard about whether or not I wanted to come down pit road, because we've seen fresh tires really take off on these restarts with, we're probably going to restart with about 10 or 11 laps to go. I mean, I would prefer to have those fresh tires and try to make my way up back through the field and put on some pressure on some of these guys who have the older tires.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly how that all pans out. Now, what I am seeing is that these drivers only had 2 sets of tires on pit road here tonight. So maybe that's what Lucarelli was thinking, is he just saves a set of tires right there for the end of the race. He will have, about 10 laps or so when we go back green to show what those fresh tires can do. So keep an eye on him, folks. He's currently down there in 17th, but this Monster Energy machine looking very snazzy here this week. I love that new paint scheme on that race car. What can he do? Can he walk away with a podium? Can he get through 14 cars there in the final 10 laps or so? Not out of the question, especially if we get a couple of cautions and a green-white checker here in Total Nonstop Racing.
Yeah, I mean, we say it every week, cautions breed cautions. So, with 11 laps to go here, they'll get the green flag with 10 to go. A lot of guys at the front pushing and shoving, trying to get a little bit better position. 3 chase drivers in the top 4 spots. So, I mean, hey, anything can happen here.
Anything can and will happen in racing, and it usually does. Heyo to Mod Chaser Mitch in the chat. Hopefully you're doing well, Mitch. I know your race there, the All-American 400, didn't exactly go to plan for you, but I'll tell you what, you put on a good show there in the All-Star race 1 week ago here on 3-wide TV in the American Sim Racing Series. But we got 10 laps here tonight in the Total Nonstop Racing League Thornton Graphix Cup. Can the 49 of Chris Stewart get the checkered flag? We'll have to wait and find out. A little bit different restart. He didn't go as early as he has been going there, Bob. And a little bit late on the loud pedal, but he's going to be able to clear him going off into turn number 1. And look at the number 4, Jason Grassi is going to slide through down there on the bottom.
Man, just a little bit late there, really bunched up the rest of the field. A couple of cars coming together, getting close to running into the back of one another. I believe that was the 13 of Starks and the 5 of Billy Thornton. But still another pretty good restart there for Chris Stewart. Jason Gracias, Jason Freeman, both battling it out. Here comes the 00 now of James Babb to the inside of the 99 of Philip Scott as they go down in turn number 1.
Yeah, that 00 machine digging down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. These tires, they're a little bit older now, so there's not going to be a whole lot of grip down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Usually we see a lot of passes with fresh tires right down there on the bottom side of the racetrack, but then we start to see that wean off as the run goes on. But speaking of fresh tires, what about Tony Lucarelli in that number 41 machine? We're riding on board with him right now. And Bob, we talked about him trying to go from 17th up possibly into the top 3. He's now got himself all the way up into the top 10 in 9th.
Yeah, what a great move, and that really just goes to show how important these fresh tires are. Maybe some of the leaders were saying, you know what, there's a pretty good chance for another caution. I'll save these tires for then. But man, oh man, what a great pit decision by the 41 of Tony Lucarelli.
Yeah, I think every other driver actually has used all their tires here tonight. So that is why Lucarelli on this slightly different strategy might work out for him. But it seems like he's kind of stalled down in ninth. But this battle right now, a little bit further up for fourth between Philip Scott and the number 99, as well as the Bab there, newcomer to the series in the 00. He's up in those bumps. That's not exactly where you want to be here through turn number 1 and 2. But a caution flag waves, and that is going to give us a shootout here at Iowa. Let's see if we can figure it out here on the 3Y TV replay and see exactly the reason for the caution flag. It looks like it was back here between the number 50 and the 44 coming out of turn number 4 here, Bob.
Yeah, side by side here coming out of 4, and then, oh man, the 44 just got sideways, overcorrected, got in front of the 50, and just lost control of his car.
Yeah, that is a tough break here for a couple of these drivers as they're working their way out of turn number 4. Watch the number 44 machine break loose and slam, bam. That was a heavy hit with that outside retaining wall as he comes to a stop out there on the racetrack. Number 50 of Bill Edwards also getting a lick of it. There he is, getting away from the accident, but luckily only a 2-car incident, but that will give us a green-white checker here. I do believe it might actually be a natural green-white checker with how many laps we have to go. We'll just have to see how it all pans out. Chris Stewart still leading. Jason Gracios was able to get up into second on that short little green flag run. Jason Freeman slid back to third. Philip Scott, James Babb back behind him, and then DeMarco Starks. But good news for one driver here in the field, Tony Lucarelli in the number 41 machine. He's going to kind of close up with all of these front drivers. You see the number 14 there of Dylan Stipe get the lucky dog, get way past the Ford Mustang pace car. But we're going to have a shootout at Iowa, short track shootout here on 3Y TV.
And, you know, this is going to be a really exciting restart, obviously with only a handful of laps to go. But the man on the outside of this front row, the 4 of Jason Gracias, has been phenomenal on restarts all season long. And really, this is going to be one of the biggest restarts of the season. If I'm Jason Gracias, I see the guy who coming into tonight's race, 10 points behind me in the championship playoffs, right behind me. I'm just going to have to go floor it and, you know, hope for the best and send it off into turn number 1.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we saw that inside groove able to make a pass there on that last restart because it was Freeman who started right up alongside the number 49 of Chris Stewart, and we also saw Gracias there start behind the number 49. In fact, Bob, in my opinion, restarting in second spot in iRacing, and in fact all of sim racing, is the hardest spot to restart a race because the race leader is the control car. He can go when he wants to. It's pretty much as soon as the pace car heads down pit road. He doesn't have to wait for the flagman to drop the green flag. And so you're just kind of watching over the left side of your screen. If you run triple screens, you can just watch your left monitor and just watch that car on the inside line to see when he goes. And you're very dependent on when that car hits the throttle. He can mash the gas on many tracks. There are some racetracks where you can't mash the gas or else you'll have a lot of wheel spin. This is one that's kind of in between. You can get wheel spin here on a restart, but it's pretty rare. But it's so difficult to time that restart such that you're alongside with the race leader when you're that outside car. Meanwhile, if you're the car behind, you naturally can just watch the car in front of you, and you're not looking over on the left side of your screen. You're not listening. You're just physically watching the bumper of that car. And as soon as the bumper of that car moves when he hits the throttle, you go for it. That's when you hit the throttle. It's a little bit more visual to do that. And usually restarting in third, in my opinion, is an advantage to restarting second. We'll see if that holds true here again.
Yeah, you know, the more I hear you explain that, I completely agree with you. If I'm Jason Freeman saying, you know what, this is going to be a really big opportunity here for me, you know, try to at least pick up second, maybe hopefully try to fight for the win here. Stewart has been absolutely phenomenal so far tonight, and with the green-white checkered here, coming. This is going to be a wild restart.
And what about Tony Lucarelli back there in the Monster Energy number 41 machine on fresher tires? He was last on pit road about 15 laps ago. He's going to be restarting up there in 8th. Pace car lights are off. This will be the first attempt at a green-white checker here in the Total Nonstop Racing League Thornton Graphix Iowa 100. And pretty cool to see a Tito's Handmade Vodka car out front, I have to say, Bob. I grew up in the Austin area, and that's where Tito's Handmade Vodka is from. So kind of near and dear to my heart when it comes to vodka. So pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, very cool. Tito's definitely one of my go-to vodkas as well when I'm having a drink. So good to see them out there on the front row.
Yeah, but I think all eyes for the championship will be on the drivers running in 2nd and 3rd, Freeman and Gracias. Those are the two drivers really battling it out at the top of the standings. Pace car heads down pit road. Chris Stewart going to lead us back to the green flag. He is on the loud pedal in that number 49 machine. Green flag waves, and we are racing once again at Iowa.
Yeah, another great jump there by Stewart on the inside, able to dive down into turn number 1, having a pretty decent 1 to 2 car length lead, but there's Jason Freeman on the inside getting around Gracias, and he's going to take the 2nd spot away.
Not so fast. Here comes the number 4 machine of Gracias to the outside line, trying to get a run coming out of the corner. This racetrack is progressively banked, so there's a little bit more grip out there. The white flag waves here at Iowa. This race will be official. No second attempt at a green-white checker, and the number 4 is up there in the bumps. The 20 has a wiggle. He's going to come up across the racetrack. The slide job here at Iowa. Now Gracias underneath him. And the 99 gives the 20 a nudge, and we're 3 wide. The 49 of Stewart's going to get to the line unhindered. And how about the number 00 of James Babb out of nowhere? We're wrecking out back. But looks like Babb is going to finish in 3rd. Stewart able to skip away to get the checkered flag, pick up win number 1 in race number 1 of his Total Nonstop Racing League career. Dominating performance, led 92 laps here tonight out of the 102 laps that we ran. But that battle for 2nd, my, Gracias pips him to the line by just under a 1/10 of a second. Boy, we're going to have to go back and watch that one on the replay.
Man, that was fantastic. What great racing there for the green-white checkered. And then just pandemonium coming out of turn number 4 to get that checkered flag in the air. Let's take a quick look at this replay there. It started with the 99 getting into the 20. 20 gets sideways, drifting through turn number 3. 99 into the wall. And then just mayhem here as everyone comes out of 4.
Yeah, and there goes the number 49, says, see ya later, guys. Look at the 99 with a drift. Oh, the 41, the 52, and Tristan Maher, one of the chase drivers going around on the front stretch, and it was on from there a little bit further back in the pack. Wow. Tony Lucarelli comes across the line well down the order here tonight. That is not what you want to see here if you're one of these drivers. Man, what a finish. We'll go back and see exactly what happened back here. Did it start with Chicky? Oh, the 52 and the 41 had it coming together. That's what started it, and you can kind of see it kind of snowballed from there. A couple of drivers up. Man, cars going everywhere. And, oh, man, still contact after the start-finish line.
Yeah, the running joke of ARCA brakes really coming through there. Everyone just sending it, just having to try to get to the line. Just get to the line. That's all they have to do. Try to pick up a couple of positions here and there, but man, just guys flying into the wall and into one another as they cross the line.
Yeah, but they're coming to the start-finish line. You know, checkered flag's out. There's no caution flag. You're not going to be frozen. It's the first one who gets back to the line is the one who's going to win. And I'll tell you what, definitely a pretty stellar job here for tonight's race winner, the number 49 machine, because like I mentioned, so many laps led. That's going to be something a lot of these drivers are going to be talking about. In fact, we'll see him do his burnout here as we were going back and watching that replay of that craziness right there at the end. That's going to give a huge advantage to Jason Gracias, who's going to be able to scoot away a few more points on Jason Freeman, who finished there in 5th. But, man, 49 machine, dominant race here tonight. He's going to be one of the drivers that these other drivers are going to have to watch out for, especially if he comes back here in TNR for next season, because it won't be all too long before we are in next season. In fact, we're going to go to the Xfinity cars for the 2021 Season A. So that's going to be really, really cool to see here on 3 Wide TV. And that 49 going to show us how it's done. Well, folks, we're going to step away here for just a brief moment. We'll be right back here on 3 Wide TV. We're going to hopefully get to talk with your top 3 finishers here tonight from Iowa Speedway. All right, folks, welcome back here to 3 Wide TV. And tonight's Thornton Graphix Cup Iowa 100 has come to a conclusion. And let's see if we can talk with tonight's third-place finisher, Jimmy Babb in the 00 machine. Jimmy Babb, Peter Short here in the 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Well, I'll tell you what, that 00 machine, you had a pretty strong night going, but right there in that green-white checker that we had, seas parted for you, and you came out of nowhere to pick up that third position. We're able to kind of get through all the cars that were all sideways. First off, talk us through your night, and then talk us through that green-white checker.
Well, I mean, I wanted to be respectful of the league. The first thing was I didn't know who was racing for what championship, so I kind of wanted to take care of the car in front of me all night, but still get everything I could get. And ran it as hard as I could without burning the right rear off of it the first run. And when we had that caution, hold on one second, I gotta mute my TeamSpeak, guys.
I've been there many, many times, Jimmy, over the years with TeamSpeak.
Yeah, that's better. Now I ain't got two people talking. Yeah, so the first caution, kind of just feeling the competitors out and, just wanting to be respectful and not wreck anybody for, their championship run because, they don't deserve that. And then figured out that, everybody was running real clean. Everybody was good side-by-side racing. And I tell you, if I don't know if you caught it, whoever was filming the race, I was setting the 99 up for about 4 or 5 laps there before that last caution, and then I finally got him to do what I wanted to do, and then I was going to work on the fourth place guy, and the caution came up as soon as I got to his right rear quarter. So I really had about a 4th or 5th place car, but I got pretty lucky on that restart. I wasn't going to run that last 5-lap run the way I ran the rest of the race. I kind of saved that, and it paid off.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you did a fantastic job here tonight. A lot of green flag running here tonight at Iowa as well. Of course, this is a racetrack. Very difficult to pass, Jimmy. I know you've probably run here many times before. And it's one of those racetracks that usually lends itself to quite a few yellows just with how difficult it was to pass. But kind of talk us about the give and take that was out there tonight.
Well, it was a lot of give and take out there. It seemed like through the whole race, but in the same token, it was a lot of really hard racing. I mean, these guys weren't goofing around. Me and the 99 were really racing hard, and my teammate DeMarco Starks, he was playing his little possum game, and he was starting to come on at the end. And Chris Stewart, he he ran away with it. It's another teammate of mine, and we just joined the league, and we're glad we're here, and we definitely appreciate y'all having us. And we'll have fun running with you guys. But yeah, the give and take was something I was very pleased to see that because there's plenty of times when I was back in the corner up in the middle of the run that they could have just lifted me up, but they didn't. So that goes a long way with me, and that makes for really good racing. It makes for side-by-side racing.
Yeah, definitely a good one here tonight. Next week, we go to Indianapolis. It is the final race of the season before we go over to the Xfinity carts for next season. You're going to be back at Indy, and what are your thoughts about the famed 2.5 mile Brickyard?
Well, I mean, the goal is to put it on the pole and lead every lap, but we'll see what happens then.
I like your goals. Those are the goals you need to set for yourselves if you want to go out there and win here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. But Jimmy, great to have you here tonight. Before we go, any shout outs?
I'd like to thank Ninja Cock Bump Stops, Blue Water Yachts, and Swift Springs.
All right. Well, folks, you heard it first from Jimmy Bad. One race here in the Total Nonstop Racing League and coming home with a podium. 1 for 1 on the podium streak. Jimmy, good luck again next week at Indy.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, folks, that is Jimmy Babb in the 00 machine coming home with the third place finish here tonight. But let's see if we can pick up a man who is a little bit more familiar to the Total Nonstop Racing League here on 3Y TV. That would be the number 4 machine of Jason Gracias, Bob.
Yep, we've got Jason Gracias here, the second place finisher of tonight's race and the current points chase standings leader. Jason, first talk us through your night so far that you've had tonight.
Hey, overall, it was an okay night. This is a hard track to pass at, and to pass cleanly. So I kind of screwed myself in qualifying. I was a couple hundredths off where I should have been. I should have ran a 24 flat. So I'm kicking myself there. But overall, it was a good night. I can't complain. These guys race with a lot of respect and clean. So it was a good run. I always wish I had track position to start the race, and I think I could have finished a little bit better, gotten some stage points. But overall, good night.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty decent night so far. Take us through that green-white checkered. Little hectic there as everyone was pretty much on top of each other coming out of turn 3. Big wreck coming out of 4. You were able to just inch out the 00 for second place. Take me through that.
My thought process going into the green-white checkered was try to be respectful and give these guys room. I know just from racing earlier here this week that on old tires, you have to full send it on the bottom, kind of like a dirt tracker would. Go in, slide it up to the top, and try to get through it. So I tried to run the high line just so if somebody did slide up, I could catch it at my peripherals. But I was pushing a little too hard there before that green-white checker to catch the 49 car. So my tires are a little worn. It sucked. I'm not a hot lapper. As you guys can see, I like to save my tires and come on strong at the end, kind of like an old Carl Edwards would, or Jimmy Johnson from the past.
So, Jason, coming in next week, Indianapolis is the race, last race of the 2020 B season. And right now, it looks like you've got an 11-point lead over Jason Freeman. What are you looking forward to next week, or are you looking forward to next week at Indy?
From NR 2003, Indy used to be my back playground. I was unstoppable there. I haven't tried it on iRacing, so I can't tell you. But my mentality's not changing. Go out, get stage points, try to get the win. Indy's prone for long green flag runs, so saving tires is crucial. So I'm hoping that I show up, kind of like I did at Dover. But we'll see. Just keep it clean. Top 5, I should be fine. That's my goal.
Fair enough. And Jason, before we let you go, do you have any shout outs for us?
First and foremost, it's going to be a long shout out, but thanks for these new guys who came out today. Garrett posted a open kind of recruitment session on Saturday night where a couple of guys raced with us, like Chris Stewart. Chris Stewart was there. Ricky Williams came out. So I'm thankful they came out, and there's a couple of new faces that might have been at Saturday night, but I can't remember. with DeMarco Starks, 00 second place finisher James Babb, Jeff Wyatt, and Bill Edwards came over from Chris Darling's league, Nastra. So happy for the guys coming out. But thanks to the usual guys, Garrett putting the league together. He's done a great job with growing this league this season. Thanks to Billy Thornton for sponsoring the league with Thornton Graphix, Dunn Raceway Park. Shout out to Cosmin for the paint schemes. Check out Splash and Go Graphics. This discount tire Dodge has been fire all season. And then lastly, thanks for 3Y TV. You and Peter do an excellent job in the booth. You really make this enjoyable to watch late at night when I'm trying to go to bed.
Awesome. Well, Jason, we appreciate it, and we're looking forward to seeing you race next week for that championship at Indy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully these guys that came out this week come back out next week. And hopefully some more, they bring some friends. So next season when we switch to Xfinity, we can be even bigger. Hopefully you guys come back for season 3. It's been a blast. Shout out to everybody at home for watching. Thank you for the support.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason, and good luck next week.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for our interview with the number 4 machine. But that leaves just one more post-race interview, and this man right here, Chris Stewart. Fast all night long with that Tito's Handmade Vodka Chevrolet. Chris Stewart, Peter Short, 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Sure do.
I'll tell you what, man. Dominating performance here tonight, leading 92 of 102 laps here around this joint here tonight. You had it figured out. What was the key to getting around this racetrack and saving your tires?
I think that short little first stage there really taught me a lot. I feel like I pushed it a little bit too hard in the beginning there, but that was kind of by design, kind of see what the tires would do. Just after that, it was kind of more just being mindful of the throttle, rolling out early and picking it up nice and soft and just kind of trying to keep the car under me.
Yeah, we saw a couple of cars get loose coming out of turn number 4, leading to a couple of caution flags. How'd the car drive here tonight? I know you had a lot of clean air on the nose, so that gave you probably quite a bit of downforce, but all things considered, was it tight, loose, or pretty neutral?
iRacing did a really good job with the setup this week, actually. The car was kind of what you made it. It was very neutral, but you could change it depending on how you decided to drive the car, which, I really liked. If you needed it to be tight, you could make it tight. If you did hop on the throttle a little bit hard, it didn't quite have the drive out of the corner, and that's what I think happened there with those guys that got loose off the 4.
Well, definitely a stellar race for you here tonight. Starting on the pole, fastest in practice, picking up the win, leading the most laps, and also kind of doing the trifecta because you also turned the fastest lap in the race as well. So pretty much sweeping the board here tonight, Chris. But next week we go to Indianapolis, and we hope to see you back in Indianapolis. You're 1 for 1 here in TNR. First race, 1 win for you. What are your thoughts about Indy?
Well, I can promise you one thing. I probably won't be 2 for 2. Indy seems to be my kryptonite. I've never been able to figure that place out. Luckily, I picked a really good track for me to start at, and it's always nice to start a new league and, get the win, start off on a high note. But other than that, it was a really nice race. Everybody was clean. Everybody was respectful. I actually had a lot of fun out there. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of green flag racing. I'm sure you, as someone who's new to a league, that's what you're looking for. I know a lot of people out there, they're looking for good, hard, clean racing, lots of green flags, side-by-side action, give and take, all that jazz. And it seemed like there was a lot of it out there on the racetrack here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody on iRacing is really looking forward to just clean racing. It really changes the dynamic. It rewards saving tires. The other thing, now that we have the limited tires in the pit box there, that also helps. You really, really have to be mindful, and it kind of brings a new strategy into it. Where if you have a bunch of yellows and unlimited tires, you can just push and burn them up, and you can always get freshies, right? So I think that also leads to cleaner racing because, again, you kind of can't go out there and run qualifying laps every lap, which I do believe was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, congratulations. Dominating performance here tonight. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Definitely, I'd like to thank Connor Hall over at Blue Water Yachts. If you're ever in the Virginia Beach area and you need a boat, he's got everything from a minnow boat to a whale boat. So look him up, and he'll definitely help you out with that.
Awesome. Well, absolutely great to hear you here, Chris. But from all of us here at 3Y TV, best of luck next week. Maybe you'll be able to shake off the Superman and the Kryptonite effect, and maybe you'll be able to kiss the bricks next week virtually here in iRacing. But until then, best of luck.
Thanks, guys, and I sure hope you're right.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for our post-race interview with the number 49 of Chris Stewart. Definitely a very, very strong run in that number 49 machine. But before we get to the post-race results, Bob, I believe you have the after-race point standings here before we move into the final round next week at Indianapolis.
I sure do. And right now, really no changes standings-wise. Jason Gracias still has the points lead. Jason Freeman now 11 points back behind him with 1,026 points. Gracias has 1,037. Third place, Philip Scott, 1,018 points. Billy Thornton closing the gap just a little bit. He's now 1 point out of the third place with 1,017 points. And then Tristan Maher, 999 points, rounding out the fifth and final chase position. So not too many position changes here tonight, but some points getting a little bit tighter here as we come down to the stretch.
Yeah, you're looking at only 8 points between Freeman and Scott. Between Scott and Thornton, only 1 point between them. And Maher, a little bit out of striking distance of Philip Scott and Billy Thornton. He's 18 points behind Thornton and 19 behind Philip Scott. So, but anything can and will happen in racing, and it usually does. So we'll have to figure out who is your 2020 B season champion here in Total Nonstop Racing next week. So make sure you tune in to 3Y TV for that one. But Bob, I think it's time for us to go through tonight's finishing results.
Now let's take a look here. The winner of tonight's race is the 49 machine of Chris Stewart, the newcomer here to the Total Nonstop Racing League. Our top finishing chase driver is in second, Jason Gracias. Third place, newcomer James Babb in third. Fourth place, the 13 of DeMarco Starks. Fifth place, another chase driver, is the 20 of Jason Freeman. Another chaser there, the 5 of Billy Thornton. Philip Scott, another chaser in seventh. Jeff Wyatt, eighth. Ninth place, Vinny Valvano. And in the top 10, a good comeback there for the 50 of Bill Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards making his Total Nonstop Racing Monday debut strong very early in the race and battling back for a top 10 finish. Garrett Gleason, the Mr. Admin himself, finishing down there in 11th. Ricky Williams, also a newcomer, finishing in 12th. Tristan Maher went spinning on that final lap, finishing 13th. The last of our chase drivers here in tonight's field, Dylan Stipe, finishing 14th in the number 14 machine. Stephen Kegman in the 22, 15th. Kyle Kevishausen, 16th. Tony Lucarelli, who mounted that charge up through the field, making contact there with a hot lap Ron Chicky coming to the checkered flag. They finished 17th and 18th here in the field. Stephen Doziak Jr. for his car 1 lap down, finishing in 19th. Mike Floppy Tellier down there in 20th. And rounding out your race results, Joe Heater in the number 35 machine, finishing 21st out of the 21 cars. And the only car, I believe, who did not finish here tonight at Iowa. And I'll tell you what, Bob, going to be interesting to see exactly what happens next week at Indianapolis. It is a different type of race course. It's, rectangular in shape. You have to manage your tires. You have to watch the brakes. You have to watch drafting as well with those long straightaways. So going to be fun to watch drivers make the pass, set up passes at Indianapolis. And all in all, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Peter, I'm really looking forward to this race next week as well. Indianapolis, one of my favorite racetracks that we go to here on the Total Nonstop Racing schedule. And, it's going to be interesting, especially because you have to manage the throttle, the brakes, drafting as well. So it really is, it's going to be just an exciting race next week to finish out the season.
So, folks, make sure you tune in, same time, same place next week. That's right, 8:30 Eastern, November 30th, right here on 3Y TV. But for myself, Peter Short, Bob Giaquinto, and everyone here at 3Y TV, family. We want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Sim TV for the camera angles that we bring you every week, as well as Thornton Graphix for sponsoring the Thornton Graphix Cup here in Total Nonstop Racing League, as well as DRP, Dunn Raceway Park, indoor off-road RC racing, located in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, also a series sponsor. Big shout out to them. They're doing fantastic. Their season recently started, and I think they're booking up all of their slots for indoor RC racing. So if you're located in the northeast portion of the United States, located somewhat close to Old Forge, Pennsylvania, and you're interested in that, make sure you look up their Facebook page and you register early for those events. But for myself, Peter Short, Bob Giaquinto, we'll see you next week for the season finale at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But until then, see ya!